Guys, today we're doing November 2023 Maths Paper 2, which is a calculator paper. So get your calculators ready. So question 1 asks us to expand and simplify the following brackets. 3 times 2y minus 5 plus 7 times y plus 2. So we're always going to times each term individually. So we do 3 times 2y, which is 6y. Then 3 times minus 5. So we're always looking to the left. So 3 times minus 5 is minus 15. And the same for the second bracket. 7 times y is 7y. 7 times positive 2 is positive 14. So now we want to simplify the terms. So we need to bring the y terms together and the non-y terms together. So 6y plus 7y is 13y. And minus 15 plus 14 is minus 1. So the answer to A is 13y minus 1. B asks us to factorize 6x squared plus 15x. So we need to look what number goes into both. So what can we divide both terms by? That's our factor. So that's going to be 3. And then what other term can we divide out? Which is x. So both terms have an x, right? So we take that outside the brackets and we open up our brackets. So the first term is going to be our 6x squared. So 3x times what equals 6x squared? 2x. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times what equals 15x? 3x times positive 5 equals 15x. So the answer is 3x, 2x plus 5. And finally, C, make G the subject of the formula 3 equals 3G plus 11. Equals 3G plus 11. So we always try to subtract what we can first to get G on one side. G on its own one side, should I say. So we get F minus 11 equals 3G. Now to get G on its own, we divide by 3 on both sides. So we get F minus 11 over 3 equals G. So G equals F minus 11 over 3. That's question 1 done. So question 2. Karen is organising a party for a charity. She spends £100 on food, £120 on hall, and £80 on a DJ. Karen sells 54 tickets for the party. Each ticket costs £7.50. Work out the percentage profit Karen makes for the charity. So we're basically asked to find how much she spends and then find out how much she makes and find the difference. And so express that as a percentage. So first we can say spend. So how much does Karen spend? So food F equals £100. Hall H equals £120. And then DJ D, I wrote that weird, equals 80. So how much does she spend in total? Well, it's this added up, right? So the total spent equals 220 plus 80 is 300. So that's how much she spends. And how does she make? So earnings, we can say. So how much does she earn? She sells 54 tickets. And each ticket costs £7.50. So 54 times by £7.50 equals... So 54 times £7.50 is £405. So now we have a difference between how much she earns and how much she spends. So also percentage profit, right? So her profit as a percentage is, well, she makes £105 more, right, than what she spent. So we're going to put that on top. And then she spent £300, which is, as a fraction, she makes 0.35, which times by 100 is a percentage. So she makes 35% profit. That's question 2 done. Invest £4,500 in a savings account for 2 years. The account pays compound interest at a rate of 3.4% per year. Calculate how much Andrew has in this savings account at the end of 2 years. So we have to express 3.4% as like a multiplier to the money. So 3.4 divided by 100 is our percentage as a fraction, as a decimal, sorry, which is 0.034. So if he's investing money, it's going to go up. So our multiplication factor is 1 plus the 0.034, which equals 1.034. So we multiply this number here by the invested money, and then square it because it's 2 years, or it's the power of however many years. In this case, it's 2 times by 1.034 squared, which is our final answer, 4,811.20 pence. So 4811.20 is our final answer. Done. Question 4. Solve 5x minus 14 equals 52 minus x. So we have x terms and we have normal number terms. So we want to put them on the same side. So we want to avoid negatives, right? So we're going to put the x's onto the left side because this is just going to plus x from both sides. And then we're going to minus 14 from add 14, sorry, to the other sides. So this side's going to be 6x plus 0, technically, because we've added 14, equals 52 plus 14 is 66, plus 0 again, because minus x. So we have 6x equals 66. So x equals 66 over 6, which equals 11. So x equals 11 is our final answer. Question 4 done. Chris, Debbie and Errol share some money in the ratio 3 to 4 to 2. Debbie gets £120. Chris then gives some of his share to Debbie and some of his share to Errol. The money that Chris, Debbie and Errol each have is now in the ratio 2 to 5 to 3. How much money did Chris give to Errol? So Debbie gets £120 and she has 4 parts of the share. So one part of the share is 120 over 4, which is £30, which equals 1 share. So Chris now has 3 shares. So Chris has 3 times 30, so he has £90. Equals Chris, and Errol has 2 times 30, so 60. So the total money equals the 120 from Debbie plus the 90 from Chris plus the 60 from Errol, which is £270. Okay, so now the money is split up. Chris gives some to Debbie, and now the ratio is now 2 to 5 to 3, so that's 10. So this adds up to 10 now. So 1 share equals 270 divided by 10, which is £27. And now Debbie has 5, so 5 times 27 is Debbie's new money. So she now has 135. And only Chris gives some of his, so Chris must give the 135 that she now has minus the 120 that she started with. So Chris gives £15. So the answer is 15. The bearing of port B from port A is 147. Work out the bearing of port A from port B. So if port B to port A is 147 degrees, it's obtuse, right? So if this is B and this is A, we always measure bearings from north clockwise, right? So this angle is 147. So B from A is 147. And A from B, measuring this way, is this angle shaded in blue. So first we need to find out the red angle, which is just 180 minus 147, which equals 33. This is 33. Then the angle A is 360 minus 33, which equals 327 degrees. So the answer is 327. Question 7. The diagram shows an empty tank in the shape of a cylinder. The cylinder has radius 15 centimeters and height 43 centimeters. Water flows into the tank at a rate of 0.47 liters per minute. Calculate the number of minutes it will take to completely fill the tank. Give your answer correct to the nearest minute. Okay, so we have a volume. We want to fill up the volume with our water, right? So we want to work out the volume, which is the area times by the height. So the area of a circle is pi r squared times by the height. which is pi times 15 squared times by 43. So we get an area of 30,394.9 centimeters cubed. And now we have water flowing into the tank at 0.47 litres per minute. So if we do 0.47 times by 1,000, we get it into the right units. So this is 470 millilitres per minute, if that makes sense. Because there's 1,000 millilitres in a litre. So how long is it going to take? Our time equals our volume divided by our rate of water in millilitres. And this is because the millilitres unit is agreeable with the centimetres unit. They match up. So we get 64.67. So 64.67 minutes. Question 8. A number x is written correct to two significant figures. The result is 1.9. Complete the error interval for x. So all this is asking is, at what point do we round to 1.9? So if we have 1.84, we want two significant figures, so we just want these two. This is going to equal 1.8. But as soon as we go to 1.85, we round it. This is 1.9. Then we do the same for the top. So 1.94 equals 1.9. 1.95 equals 2. So our lower bound is 1.85, and it's less. So less than 1.95. So if it was less than or equal to, it would be 1.94, right? But yeah, 1.95. Sorry, I wrote out the wrong thing. That's our answer, simple. Expand and simplify x plus 7, x minus 2, x plus 3. So the way I like to do this is just do 2 at a time, because we're all more comfortable with that. So we choose the first two. So this is x squared, and then we have plus the 7x, and then we have minus the 2x, because this one goes to the back. And then 7 times minus 2 is minus 14. This equals x squared plus 5x minus 14. So now we're going to put that back into the brackets. And then we're going to times by x plus 3. So a little bit harder this time, guys. Not too hard. So the x squared times is by the x. So we get x cubed plus 3x squared. Our first two terms. This is going to be a bit longer, so I'm going to move it down. And then the 5x times is by the x. So we get 5x squared plus 15x. So I'm just going the first term times by the second bracket, the second term times by the other bracket, the third term times by the other bracket. So yeah, 15x, and then minus 14x, and then minus 14 times 3 is minus 42. What maths are correct. So this simplifies to x cubed plus the x squared terms, plus the x terms, minus our c, our non-x term. So our final answer is x cubed plus 8x squared plus x minus 42. Done and dusted. 10. Shakir has to complete two tests. He can either pass or fail each test. The probability that he will pass the first test is 0.87. If he passes the first test, the probability he will pass the second test is 0.94. If he fails the first test, the probability that he will pass the second test is 0.73. Complete the probability tree diagram for this information. Okay, so what do we know? So he wins is 0.87. If he passes first test, so the top branch, and the second is 0.94. If he fails the first and passes the second, it's 0.73. So from here we can work out the blanks, because every probability has to add up to 1. So this is 0.13, this is 0.06, and this is 0.27. So B, work out the probability that Shakir passes at least one of the tests. So at least, so you can either pass, fail, pass, or fail. So as it says at least one of the tests, we just need to find out the probability that he fails both of the tests. So probability fail equals 0.13 times 0.27, which equals 0.0351. So the probability that he wins at least one is 1 minus the probability of failing both. Equals probability of win once. So 1 minus 0.0351 equals 0.9649. So the final answer, 0.9649. So question 11 is the graphs of y against x represent 4 different types of proportionality. Match each type of proportionality in the table to the correct graph. So we have y is proportional to x squared, y is proportional to x, y is proportional to 1 over x, and y is proportional to root x. So immediately we can probably see that graph A is going to be y is proportional to x. So y is proportional to x squared. Which graph gets bigger with every increment of x? That's going to be D. It's increasing at a fast rate, right? So we can write D for it's proportional to x squared. Y is proportional to 1 over x. So this one actually decreases. So as y gets bigger, x is going to get smaller. So that's going to be graph B. And then y is root x is the graph where it's going to like taper off at the end. It's going to get flatter and flatter. So let's see. Question 12. A is the point with coordinates 7, 13. B is the point with the coordinates -3, 21. C is the point with the coordinates 15, 23. M is the midpoint AB. N is the midpoint BC. Work out the distance MN. So we know that the midpoint between 2 points equals x1 plus x2 over 2. So it's the average of their points plus y1 over 2 over 2. So that's our midpoint. So M is the midpoint AB. So x1 is 7 plus -3 over 2. Then we get 13 plus 21 over 2. And this is going to equal 7 minus 3 is 4 over 2, which is 2. 13 plus 21 is 44 over 2, which is 22. N is the midpoint BC. So this is -3 plus 15 over 2. This is 21 plus 23 over 2. Sorry, the top one. I did the math wrong. 13 plus 21 is 34, right? So it's 17. -3 plus 15 is 12 over 2 is 6. 21 plus 23 is 44 over 2, which is actually 22 this time. Work out the distance between M and N. Give your answer to one decimal place. So at this point, like M is going to be a coordinate about here, right? Which is, and then N is going to be a coordinate like here, right? Which is 6 and 22. So you need to find like the distance, and we do that using Pythagoras and breaking it into its components. So how much does it change in X? How much does it change in Y? And then do Pythagoras. So it increases by X by just 4. It increases by Y by 5. So the distance equals 4 squared plus 5 squared, which is root of 16 plus 25, which is root 41, which is about 6.4 or something. So that's a 6.4. Question 12 done. That 0.0723 can be written as 241 over 3,330. So 723 is recurring, right? Because 7 recurs and 3 recurs, so everything in between. So this is actually like this, right? So the 723 is going to recur forever. So first we set x equals 0.0723723, for example. So we want to get, so the first number that recurs, we want to get as like our first decimal. So we need to times this by 10. So 10x equals 0.723723. And then we need to get to the next time 723 is, so we can cancel that out. So to get all the way to here, that's 4 zeros, right? Which is 10,000. I get 4 zeros. Which is So 0.0723. And when you do this kind of question, just write out the recurring for like a while, because you don't know how many times you're going to need it. So that is 723.723. So notice how the decimals line up now. So we're going to write 10,000 x minus 10x equals 723.723 minus 0.723. So it should be a bit clearer. But now, like the decimals after this are going to cancel out. So we get 9,990x equals 723. So x equals 723 over 9,990. And that simplifies to our answer 241 over 330. 330. Y is proportional to x squared. Y is 3 when x is 0.5. X is inversely proportional to a w. X is 2, w is 0.2. Find the value of y when w is 2. So this one's a bit of a brain burster. So we need to write down our first two equations. So equation 1, y is proportional to x squared. So when something's proportional, y equals, we can say y equals k, so some number k, x squared. And our second one, x is inversely proportional to w, so x equals k, so that's our constant, times, if it's inversely, it's the reciprocal of w, so 1 over w. So these are our two equations. We need to find k for both. So in 1, if we sub in 3, 3 equals k times 0.5 squared. So k equals 3 over 0.25, which is 3 times 4, which is 12. And then x equals, subbing in x, so 2 equals k times 1 over w, which is 0.2. So 1 over 0.2 is like 5, so k equals 2 over 5, which is 0.4. So we have k for both. So now we need to work backwards. So we need to find y when w is 2. So we can find x when w is 2, and then we can use that x to find y. So x equals 0.4, which is what we just calculated, times 1 over w, which is 2 in this case. So 0.4 times a half is 0.2. Then we can sub this x into the first equation. So it's kind of like a simultaneous equation in a way. So we have y equals k, which is 12, times 0.2 squared. I can't do that by my head. So 12 times 0.2 squared is 0.48. So y is 0.48. Now, question 15. The incomplete table and the incomplete histogram give information about the times taken by some students to run a race. So we have our table of frequency and we have a graph. So question 8, none of these students had a time for the race such that t is smaller than 10 and t is greater than 26. Use the histogram to complete the table. So histograms always work with frequency density, right? So our table only has frequency, so we're going to add another column. We're going to call it FD. So our frequency density is the frequency divided by like the range of the data. So 12 to 16, 16 to 19. So our frequency density for, well, we can't do row 1 because we don't have frequency. So row 2 is 10 over 4, which is 2.5. 15 over 3, which is 5. 9 over 2, which is 4.5. And 7 over 5, which is 1.4. So now we're going to label our things. So this is 10 to 12, this is 12 to 16, this is 16 to 19. So between 12 and 16, we get 2.5. So we know this point here is 2.5, all right, side. And then we know that 16 to 19 is 5. So 16 to 19, so the top guy's 5. So 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. So yeah, the big squares on our y-axis, our frequency density graph in 0.5 is what we needed to find. So 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, 2, 1.5, 1, 0.5. So now we know that 10 to 12, our frequency density is 1.5. So so if this is 1.5, our frequency is 1.5 times the 2, which is the range, which is 3. So our frequency is 3, so we can write that in. We can write in 10, 15. Now we need to draw some, which is part B of our question, complete the histogram. So between 19 and 21, our frequency density is 4.5. So 19 to 21, 4.5 is like here. With our curve shape, because my iPad isn't complying. And then 21 to 26, which is like here, has a density of 1.4. So that's like, go along the x-axis. It's like here, right? So boom, that's it done. So that's 9, 7. Moving on. The histogram below gives information about the times taken by 43 students to run a different race, different graph. Work out an estimate for the median of the times taken by these 43 students to run the race. So we want to find the median, so we need to find the middle student, right? Out of 43 students, we want to find the one that finishes in the middle of them. So that is 43 over 2, which is 21.5. And we always round up, so we want to find the 22nd student. And to illustrate this, if we have 5 people, one more, we want to find the middle one, so there's 5. So we do 5 divided by 2.5, which is somewhere here, right? So to find the middle, we want to go up, so we have even numbers on each side. So that's like basically how that works. So the 22nd student. So we want to find the frequency at each point. So it's just finding the areas. So this is 10 to 12, this is 12 to 16, 16 to 20, 20 to 22, 22 to 26. So 10 to 2 is so the base is too wide, it's too high, so we have 4. 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 4 is 16, 2 times 6.5 is 13, and 4 times 0.5 is 2, and that should all add up, so 12, 28, 41, 43, so it does add up to 43. So we want to find the 22nd student. So at this point, right, we have 12 students that have finished their race, or whatever they're doing. Their race, yeah. So we know, and at this point, we have 28 that have done. So it's somewhere in between our 22nd. So we want to split this area up so that we find 10 of the area and another 6 of the area. Because we want to find 10 plus 12 is a 22nd person. So it's going to be somewhere around here. So to make the area 6, what we're going to do is, it's 4 high. So it's going to be 6 divided by 4 is 1.5. So it's 1.5 away from here. So that's 1, 1.5 is here. So this area is how we're going to split it. So now we have 6 on this side and 10 on this side, and that occurs at 18.5. So the answer to question 15, C, is 18.5 seconds. That's it done. So we have a trapezium ABCD. AD is parallel to BD. Calculate the area of triangle BCD. Give your answer to 1 decimal place. So we want to find the area of this green guy. So we're going to use our sine rules and our area equation. So first, eventually, if we're thinking about this, well, we can find this angle and this angle straight away because we know our rules. So area and angle, and then an area on parallel lines. So this is 42. And eventually, we want to find this side, which we can do, and this side, and then we can use the equation area is a half AB sine C, where we have our lengths A, B, and the area C. So we have to work back, and this is how I recommend you do this, is we need to work back from how we're actually going to get the answer, and then find all the bits in place. So we can kind of forget about this area a bit because we're going to use that at the end. So first, if we look at what we need to answer the question, we need side A, right? So we can find side A, but we're going to change its name probably. Or we don't need to. We can call this A. And we can call this, so if this is A, this angle's big A, because we're using our sine rules. And then we have this side, AB, so we can call that B. This is big B. We can use the rule, the sine rule, A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. So we have A over sine 112 equals 7.9 over sine 42. So if we do some rearranging, 7.9 over sine 42 times sine 112 equals, that's a 1. .95. So that's our side A. So we're nearly there now. So this is 10.95. We're going to call this A, and this B, and this 42 degrees we're going to call C. We'll use our area. So the A area is 1/2 times 10.95 times 15.3 times the sine of the angle 42, which is 56.1 centimeters squared. So that's our answer, 56.1. Question 16, banged out 4 marks, come on. 17a, show that the equation x cubed plus 2x minus 6 equals 0 has a solution between x equals 1 and x equals 2. So this question here has, well, we've got to think about the graph first, right? So if we have an x and a y-axis, the graph is going to look something like this, where it's going to be like, because we have a solution between 1 and 2, right, is what we're implying through the question. So these two like points here where it crosses the x-axis. Oh God, I just drew my axis the wrong way around. So we have to show that solutions between them. So if we sub in 1, so at this point here, you're going to get 1 cubed plus 2 lots of 1 minus 6. And that equals 1 plus 2 is 3, minus 6 is minus 3. And if we sub in 2, which is our second point here, plus 2 lots of 2 minus 6, which is 8, plus 4 is 12, equals 6. So can we notice that this is positive and this is negative? And because the sign is switched, it means that there's a solution. So yeah, there is a solution. B, show that the equation x cubed plus 2x minus 6 equals 0 can be arranged like this. So we first write it out. And now, if we look at what we have, we need to isolate an x somewhere. So we're going to take this boy out, factorize x squared plus 2, and then we can minus 6, add the 6 to both sides, equals 6, and all of a sudden it's come alive, this question. So we have x equals, and we're going to divide the whole bracket. Right? So we have 6 over x squared plus 2. C, starting with x0 equals 1.45, use this iteration formula x n plus 1 equals 6 over x sub n squared plus 2 twice to find an estimate for the solution. So we're using this iteration formula twice. So this formula is something like this. So x of n plus 1, so if n is 0, we have x of 1 equals 6 over x0 squared plus 2. So that's where we're going to start. So x1 is 6 over 1.45 squared plus 2, which is 1.46. Right to 4 decimal places, 4625. And now x2 is our second iteration, so this is n equals 1 equals 6 over x3 squared plus 2. Sorry, x1 squared plus 2. So we have x2 is 6 over 1.4625 squared plus 2, which equals, and we can just do this forever. squared plus 2 is 1.4497. So that's it twice. So the final answer is 1.4497. Question 17 done. 18. AB, CD is a quadrilateral. EF, GH are the midpoints of AB, BC, CD, and DA. AH is A. AE is B. DG is C. Prove using the vectors that EF, GH is a parallelogram. So we have this shape made of the midpoints. So we're going to write our vectors. So they need to point in the same way for them to be equal. Prove using vectors that this is a parallelogram. So what we have AE, so we know that this is B as well because it's all midpoints. So the other side is a midpoint. Okay, so now we need to find BC, so like this side on the top. So CB equals minus 2C, because we're going to work around, right? We can only make a vector out of the vectors we already have. So CB is minus 2C, minus 2A, minus 2A plus 2B. So each one of these is half of that. So minus 2C, so minus C, minus A plus B, minus C, minus A plus B. Okay, so we can start. So HE, we want to find that HE and GF are the same, right? So HE is easy, it's minus A plus B. GF, you can find by doing is 1C. And then we're going to do minus C, and minus A, and plus B. So equals minus A plus B. So they're the same, which is good. We're going to say that EF equals plus B. And then we're going to do the minus of minus C minus A plus B, which equals B plus C. So B plus C plus A minus B, which equals C plus A. And then that's EF, so HG equals A plus C. So the same. So HG is parallel to EF as same vector, and then same as HE and GF. And it's literally that simple. You're just finding that they're the same vectors because they're the same length then and the same direction, which means they're parallel. F and G are such that f of x is 2x plus 3 all brackets squared and g of x is 2x minus 1. Find gf or minus 3. So first, like, finding the first bit, you just want to find gf of x, right? So what actually is this? Well, we have the g on the outside, so that kind of governs that equation. So the x term, so we basically make x equal 2x plus 3 squared, right? So if we move that up, so with this x here becomes a big, like, f of x, basically. So this becomes 2x plus 3 squared minus 1, which equals 2 lots of 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3 minus 1, which equals 2 lots of 2x times 2x is 4x squared, 2x times 3 is 6x, 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times 3 is 9, minus 1, which equals 8x squared plus 24x, right? Plus 18 minus 1, which equals 8x squared plus 24x plus 17. Okay, so I wrote that massive, so I'm going to make that a bit smaller. So we have our g of f of x term. It's a mouthful. So now we have this. We're going to make x minus 3, because that's what we have here. So we have 8 lots of minus 3 squared plus 24 lots of minus 3 plus 17, which equals 8 lots of minus 3 squared plus 24 lots of minus 3 plus 17 equals 17. So the final answer is 17. B, so find the inverse of g of x, g minus 1 of x. So g of x equals 2x minus 1. So here we basically make y d of x. So we say y equals 2x minus 1. And we're making x the subject. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. So we have y plus 1 equals 2x. And then divide by 2 to make x the subject. So x equals y plus 1 over 2. And then we basically make, so g minus 1 of x is that, right? Equals that y plus 1 of 2. So it's just rearranging the formula. So we get y plus 1 over 2. That's 19 done. So question 20, we have a big lot of factorising to do. So 14 over 3x minus 21 plus, open brackets, x plus 4 divided by 2x squared minus 6x minus 56 all over 2x plus 3. We have to show it in the form ax plus b over cx plus d. So the first thing we want to look at is we're going to break this down and do a few steps. And nothing's too hard. So we need to solve this 2x squared minus 6x minus 56 term. Or factorise rather. So we write it down. So to factorise this, we need to times 56 by 2, which is minus 112. And then find the factors of 112 that makes 6x. So if we try a few, 112 divided by, so we have, I literally guessed it first time. So 8 and 14, right? They make 112 and they add together or subtract from each other to make 6x. So we're going to have the factors 2x squared plus 8x. Sorry. Yeah, plus 8x minus 14x. So it's 8 minus 14x is minus 6x, right? Minus 56. And then we're going to make the two factors out of these. So what are the factors of 2x squared and 8x? So we have a 2x, and then in the brackets we have x plus 4, right? 2x squared plus 8x. And then we know we're going to have another x plus 4. And then this is just 14x, right? Minus 14. So minus 14x, minus 14 times 4 is minus 56. Excellent. So this simplifies to 2x minus 14, x plus 4. Okay, so let's just make that a little smaller. So we have this bracket, so we have x plus 4 times 2x plus 3, because I'm flipping it, over 2x minus 14, and then x plus 4. So we can see that this x plus 4 cancel out because they're on opposite sides of the fraction, which is nice. So we've got a simplified equation now. So now we have 14 over 3x minus 21 plus 2x plus 3 over 2x minus 14, which again is annoying to solve. So we have to cross multiply. So this equals, with a big on the bottom, we have this. So these multiply together. And on top, we have 14 times 2x minus 14 plus 2x plus 3, 3x minus 21. Okay, so we're going to look at the top. So we have 28x minus 196, 14 times minus 14, plus 6x squared, plus 9x, plus 6x squared, plus 9x, minus 21, minus 60, minus 42x, sorry, and then minus 63. So we take like terms, so we have, this ends up as 6x squared, 28 plus 9 minus 42 minus, is minus 5x. Then minus 196 minus 63 is minus 259. Okay, so we have this. And this is over 3x minus 21, 2x minus 14. So now we need to factorize this top guy, right? So cancel it out. So One thing you got to notice here is that you have to make it easier for yourself by guessing. So this bottom guy here it can be divided by 2, right? So it's just the same as x minus 7. And then 259 divided by 7 equals something. So let's just make that equal to 6x squared minus 5x minus 259 over 3x minus 21. And then x minus 7, right? And then we can times this by a half or whatever, because we divided by 2. Yeah, because we have another 2 that we've factorised out. And then we can guess at the top is, because 259 divided by 7 is 37, which makes me think that it's a factor. So we're going to start with x minus 7 as one of the factors, because I'm guessing it's going to cancel out. And we've got 6x, and then minus 259 divided by 7 is, so we're going to get plus 37. And does this work? So we have 6x squared minus 42x plus 37x, and then minus 7 plus times 37 minus 259. The main thing is these singular x terms, minus 42 plus 37 does equal minus 5. So this is right. So this is indeed the factor. So we can put that over what we just had. 3x minus 21, x minus 7 times a half. So what's cancelling out? This x minus 7, this x minus 7 is cancelling out. Then we're just left with 6x plus 37 over 3x minus 21 times a half. So this is just 6x plus 37, and then doubling the bottom, because it's the same as this, right? Get on clear? Which is just 6x minus 42. This is in the same form as what we said. ax plus b over cx plus d. Done. Question 20, done. 21. Vicky has a collection of medals. The Venn diagram gives information about the number of medals in a collection, where the outside, or the total is all the medals. The first circle is English, and the second circle is gold medals. Vicky is going to take a random medal from her collection. Given that the medal is gold, the probability that the medal is English is 2/11. Work out the number of medals in Vicky's collection. So only English is 7x minus 11. English and gold is x, and only gold is 5x minus 3. And outside, so neither is 34. So English and gold is x. Sorry, I'll write that back. Then, so English and gold is x. All of the gold is x plus 5x minus 3, right? Everything that the b covers, which is 6x minus 3. So what proportion of English and gold is the golds, if that makes sense? So that's going to be x over 6x minus 3. So given that the middle is gold, the probability that the middle is English is 2/11. So this equals 2/11. So we're going to get that. This goes to 11x. If we cross multiply, equals 12x minus 6. So we get x equals 6. Now we need to work out the number of medals in Vicky's collection. So we're going to do inside, so 7x minus 11 plus x plus 5x minus 3 plus 34. And that equals 7 plus 1 plus 5, 13x. And then minus 11 minus 3 plus 34 plus 20. And then x is 6, so 13 times 6 plus 20 equals 98. So 98 in her collection. Easy peasy. Done, guys. Nice work.